10 years ago, I think the landscape looked a lot different. I think publishers operated much more from a position of fear. What's going to happen in the digital future? iPhones were still kind of new. The Kindle had just come out. The iPad was going to change everything. 10 years later, I think we've come to a realization that books are here to stay. Reading is here to stay. So the challenge now is, how do we reach people? And when you have a world of content available to you on your phone now, so many things for free that can take up your time. The most important thing publishers have to deal with now is the competition for a consumer's attention. And the idea of telling people that it's okay to be alone for an hour or two and not be in contact with anybody to enjoy a text, to read a text. And that all starts with the schools. Like, to me, that has to start at a young age. Literacy is the tool. Literacy is the silver bullet, the magic bullet. If we can reach kids and get to them with a love of reading at an early age, I think the rest takes care of itself. Soft innovation, hard innovation, innovation has to happen. It's key. I think going back to the last decade for publishing, a lot of it's been played on defense. They've attempted to stop the erosion of booksellers. We've been losing bookstores, so they've tried to stem the tide. A lot of it's been trying to push back a digital wave that's coming regardless. But I think now we're seeing a lot more soft innovation, call it. A lot more projects where publishers and libraries and tech platforms are beginning to work together to get books and reading out to people. I think it's important to remember that in the digital age, the book will always be around. It's perfect technology for reading. But books are not the product. Going forward, to me, reading is the product. However that's done, whether you're reading on your phone or whether it's on a reader or print, giving people access to reading in multiple formats, however they want it, is really going to be the mission of the publishing industry in the next decades.
I think when difficulty to build a strategy on these matters is that there used to be a book world with authors, publishers, booksellers, librarians, and so on, and you could see it in most countries. The trend with all the licensing and the new medias which appears is that publishers are publishers, but they sometimes also develop other projects on other medias. They are on videos, video games, series, and so on. Even booksellers diversify; they do other things, and so even the main company acting in the book world is Amazon. And but the book in the turnover of Amazon is quite small. So Amazon, of course, Amazon is part of the book world, but the book world is not so important for Amazon. So and it's like this for other company, and it makes much more difficult to fight for the specific interest of books as a product, as a medium, as a specific medium who needs specific conditions to develop. However, I think it's necessary that all people working in this world, even when they are doing other things, they have to discuss and to try to fight together on these challenges.
There are two situations when we really have troubles regarding regulation. When you have too much regulation and when you don't have regulation at all. So I think the challenge is always to find this balance. But I don't think you should think about Google, Facebook, Amazon, whatever, simply as the enemy. They sure are competitors, because more than anything they compete for the time of the reader. It's not even about money, it's about the time. So yes, they're competitors, but they also provide tools and things that could help you to actually expand your readership and everything. So I think the regulation should protect the writers, should protect the content creators, and to make sure everyone gets paid fairly and stuff like that. But I don't like so much when, no, it's Amazon is the big enemy. I mean, there are problems, there are challenges. Any monopoly is bad, but there's also good things and bad things. So I think, again, I think you should have some regulation, but not see these companies as enemies. And another challenge you have, expand your question a little bit, that I see is that the content industry, particularly the book industry, more than cinema and other stuff, they're very conservative. So they have a very hard time dialoguing, talking, having a conversation with these big companies, and even with the small startups. So perhaps one good way to start creating interesting stuff to protect ourselves from the big corporation companies is startups. So young people that are creating, oh, by the way, here at Casa del Lector, close to the Matadero, have some of those. Startups, so the startups are very creative, very technological, very future thinking, forward thinking, and the publishers are more conservative and they have the content. The problem is these two words, they don't talk to each other here. It's very hard to find startups that can really respect the tradition of book publishing and content publishing, and it's very hard to find publishers that respect the more forward thinking and more aggressive, more creative, I could say, of the startups. So I think one key thing that we're missing is how to close this gap and how to make content producer, and I'm talking about the book publishers specifically, talk better with new models and new startups, not Google, not Facebook. These are smaller companies because then it's on the same level. But both sides need to compromise and try to find the intersection of interests and ideas. So I think that's a big challenge that if you solve it, it's going to be good for everyone. And it's a way to make an alternative or to face the challenge of the big corporation companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, and so on.
I think one of the major challenges of the publishing industry in Europe is the competition with other news, entertainment media, whether it be video streaming or games. So it's quite a competition on the attention of the people. But as the world has become more hectic, more faster, it is an opportunity for books, I think, because you can sit down, relax, read in your own pace. So I think that's an asset in the modern and fast moving world.